really anyone hearing this, you, me, we have overcome 100% of our darkest days. That's just the truth. Like if there's breath in our lungs, a beating heart in our chest, like there's so much more life
Yeah.
to live. And so for me in a fight, to the casual fan, it looks like the person with the strongest muscles is going to win, but in reality, it's the person with the strongest reasons.
Welcome to Engage Presents. I'm Engage co-founder and president Jake Olson. In this interview series, I ask Engage talent the most common questions we hear from event planners to help you get to know them and their stories in 15 minutes or less. Thanks for listening. Welcome to another episode of Engage Presents. I'm Engage President Jake Olson. Alongside me today, Justin Wren. You do not want to meet this guy in the back alley because he is an excellent MMA fighter. He is also the founder and CEO of Fight for the Forgotten. Justin, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you so much, Jake, for having me.
Absolutely. So, what made you want to get into fighting? Kind of where did that motivation come from and how did it evolve?
Yeah, it's a great question. Uh, Uniquely, I got into mixed martial arts or found fighting because I grew up getting very heavily bullied. And so I didn't want to be bullied anymore at school. When I say bullied, like relentlessly, mercilessly bullied, sat at the lunch table by myself most days, getting pelted in the back of the head with chocolate milk spit wads, food, or fist as kids would walk by. But they were mimicking throwing harpoons at me, and that's just the scratching the surface. There was two moments, I would say, of public humiliation in front of the school that I get into one of them briefly in the keynote, just so I can take people there, which led me to finding fighting. When I saw the UFC for the first time, one, I fell in love with the human chess match of it. But whenever I was just looking at the cover of those old UFC VHS tapes, if someone can remember last century or the 1900s, or we had VHS tapes then, and when I just held those, looking at the cover, I thought these fighters, they don't get bullied, and so that kind of started it. I asked my mom if I could do MMA for kids. That still doesn't exist. She said absolutely not. And then boxing, and she said no way. But then I found wrestling. I had two Olympic gold medalists as my high school coaches, which was really a blessing because not another high school in the whole country had one, and we had two. One was my main training partner, my coach. He wouldn't just coach me for my high school years. He would coach me for literally almost 2 decades. And he was like a
Mm.
second father figure to me. So that's how I got into it. And yeah, I think life in many ways is a fight, or the approach of mixed martial artists can be applied to life, to work in so many different ways. You want to be a well-rounded fighter, and you want to be a well-rounded human being or a well-rounded person in the workplace. And so fighting has a lot of ways to apply to the fight of life.
I love what you said there about the chess match because football is a lot in that same ways where it's so physical. Obviously, it's a lot of brute force and just physicality and strength, but underneath all of that is a very much of a chess match going on. How are you going to hit your opponent? Where are you going to hit it? And so yeah, absolutely love that. So kind of through your story and through obviously what you went through, you kind of went down a road of philanthropy as well. Fight for the Forgotten. Kind of explain to us what that is and then what impact it's making today.
Yeah, so we started with water, and I got there. It's a wild story. We don't have enough time for it, but once I got there, I left fighting for 5 full years, and this was, I would say, towards the peak of my career. I'm young in my prime, being paid a main event at the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. And I just left. And really, I left. I'd gone through a string of or a run of addiction, went to treatment, and really had to overcome a lot of adversity after a surgery. And I found, I would say, purpose through service. And that has been, and still is, the highlight of my life. And when I met the Pygmy people, an indigenous people group in Congo and in Uganda, actually, they span across 8 or 9 African nations, where the Congo Basin rainforest is. They're one of, if not the very oldest people group alive today. And when I met them, man, my life just changed. The way they live in community with one another, the way they have joy whenever maybe they don't have much in materialism or materialistic ownership. Man, they have everything because they have each other. They have life. They have breath in their lungs, a beating heart in their chest, and but they didn't have clean water. And so we started with that to try to knock out the water crisis for who became my second family. I'm adopted into the tribe. My fight name was the Viking when I left the UFC, and then it became. I took a 5 year hiatus. I came back for 5 years, and I fought for them so we could drill more water wells. And they named me the Big Pygmy. So Mabuti Mangbo, which translates to the Big Pygmy. And so I championed their name in the cage, but really, we've done over 100 water wells, providing clean water to more than 100,000 people. Are opening a hospital. Actually, Jake, right behind me on my desk, or on my shelf, I have a golden shovel that I'm showing to the camera now. And this was from the groundbreaking of a hospital.
Oh, wow.
The nearest health center is 3 hours away. And then in October, we will be opening the hospital. And so I just set that back down, but it's turned into something more than what I could have ever expected, right? We do holistic community development. First goal was 2 water wells on 20 acres of land that they legally own. Now it's over 3,000 acres and it's more than 100 water wells, and it's becoming a hospital, a school, a holistic community development, meaning we're helping people with basically the basics. If we were
Yeah.
world class at anything, it's listening to the community, their needs, wants, desires, ideas, and then we can take collaborative effort and action on that. So basically, people want land and water, and they're asking for some food in their belly. So we started farms, better housing, healthcare, education, sustainable livelihoods. So that's what we do as an organization.
That's absolutely amazing, man. That's just crazy. That's so cool. In the beginning there, you mentioned that it's become your purpose, and that's such a powerful word. Kind of walk us through what's the first step toward someone finding kind of the purpose and living a purpose-driven life.
Yeah, I think people oftentimes make purpose. So many people will say, I don't have a purpose or haven't found my purpose or discovered my purpose. And I have a story where I discovered it in a very deep and powerful, meaningful way. But I think it started small. And if I backtrack it, you know, I think people can the first step would probably be identifying that first feeling of purpose, which oftentimes can be fulfillment. And for me, it was through service. And so it was identifying how I felt when I was volunteering, whether that was with the Special Olympics or the Denver Rescue Mission and those experiencing homelessness, or the Denver Children's Hospital or Children's Hospital Colorado in the rooms on the oncology unit, and seeing those kids that were like honestly better, stronger fighters than I could have ever pretended to be in a cage. And so those moments, I think, open our awareness. If we can identify when did we first feel some sense of purpose, it opens our awareness. And once our awareness is opened and we discover that, like we see the opportunities all around us all the time, which is for the person right in front of us or the people right beside us that we do our job with, and the people that we serve and add value for. And as you do that, it can start to, pick up and it starts to snowball and then avalanche. But for me, it's always been purpose through service. And just as a dude that all I really want to do is put love and compassion in action. I want to fight for people. I want to build better lives for the people around me. And the people around me, I've found out that the world's just one big neighborhood. And halfway across the world, that's my second family. And I got to live with them for more than 3 years. And we've been doing this work for the last 14 years. And kind of that can't stop, won't stop mentality. We're going to keep riding this wave and overcoming the obstacles and yeah, putting that love and compassion in action in sustainable ways.
Awesome. Very cool. What's kind of your approach to confronting adversity? You talk about being a kid and going through what you went through, and not quitting, right? Not letting that completely, be the end of things, but you pushing through and figuring out an avenue and how to get out of that and bring strength and confidence and will back into your life. Can you kind of talk to us what that approach is like?
Yeah, well, I think the first this just came to me. We're going to wing it a bit, but the first truth I think is really anyone hearing this, you, me, we have overcome 100% of our darkest days. That's just the truth. Like if there's breath in our lungs, beating heart in our chest, like there's so much more life
Yeah.
to live. And so for me in a fight, to the casual fan, it looks like the person with the strongest muscles is going to win, but in reality, it's the person with the strongest reasons. That's the truth. And so being able to stack those reasons when you're overcoming adversity or feel like you're against all odds, you got to be able to dig deep and stack your reasons. So not just having one reason, but stacking the reasons and raising the bar of necessity to why it's important to overcome this adversity and what's on the other side. Too many people throw in the towel, tap out, give up. Really, when if they're honest with themselves, if they pushed for another day, or maybe it was another month, maybe even another year, but if you just pushed through, right on the other side, right around the corner is breakthrough, and that's where the good stuff happens. That's the gold, is overcoming adversity, and don't give up right before breakthrough.
Powerful, very powerful. Now, going back to speaking, talk about reasons and purpose. Kind of give us the reasons why you want to continue to share your message and the purpose you find by doing so and bringing that message to audiences.
Yeah, the message I bring, the experience and the message is it's an emotional narrative on stage. And I think it takes people by surprise seeing this guy with long hair, a big beard, tattoos, a fighter guy, being vulnerable and sharing some of the darkest moments, not just the highlights, but I guess the lowlights and what it took to get to where we are now. I mean, now it's a life that I would never give up. And yet I attempted suicide. And so that's not the focus of the keynote. But the keynote is, I guess it's my story, the story of the nonprofit and the story of the people we serve, but it's humanity's story. So we see ourselves in it. And then it's overcoming adversity, and it is discovering that purpose through service and how each and every one of us can make an impact. And I think what people walk away with, I mean, during it, the experiences people are, I think they laugh, they feel, they think, they cry, but it ends on this really emotional high point where we see ourselves in it. And oftentimes people get to their feet, and I'm obviously honored by that. But really, I think they're getting to their feet for all of us, right? None of us do this alone. None of our success is just because of ourselves. We're not this self-made success story. And yeah, I think we get to leave the keynote and the talk really meditating or thinking about and integrating what this all means. And for me, one of the Swahili proverbs I heard was, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping in a closed room with a mosquito. And it's tongue in cheek, right? But it's so true. Like if a mosquito can make that kind of impact, or me having malaria, a mosquito-borne parasite that I lost 33 pounds in 5 days, vomiting red and green, blood and bile, had something called blackwater fever that takes like 25 to 50% of the people that get it die. So it made a huge impact in my life. And I fought guys 6'7", 6'8", 6'10", like big boys, with mean intentions. Yet a mosquito made a bigger difference in my life than those guys did. And so if that's true, then we can all make such a bigger impact than we ever thought possible. So my job on stage is to shift people's perspective and expand that well, deepen that well of at least a knowledge and an inner knowing that they can all make an incredibly positive impact in the world around them.
Well, Justin, you are making a difference. You are making an impact. We can see just here listening to you how much purpose and passion you live your life through, just with all you do serving. So we appreciate you letting us help you make that impact. If you want to check out Justin's profile, visit letsengage.com. You can check out more of what he does and who he is and book him there. Justin, keep doing what you're doing, man, because again, you really are making, not to compare you to a mosquito, but you are making a big difference.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin, and stay tuned for more Engage Presents.